online teaching and actually why I started supporting people to get online February 28th, 2020, during the pandemic, when a Macedonian teacher reached out to me who was a dyslexia therapist telling me schools closed, is because online teaching is a skill, right? So in terms of a skill, if you think about in your college days as a teacher and you're like, okay, read this book on classroom management and then go manage 20 kids, go look into any first year teacher, and they're not having a good time right now because they had to, for you to be really good at classroom management, you had to hone a skill. And it's not something you can YouTube. It's not something you can just ask for advice for, because online teaching, number one, is constantly changing. And number two, it's a skill. And yes, like, you need to know the setup. You need to know the setup on your side. You need to know how to keep it simple. But you're also selling a high level ticket item, okay? So when you show up, and if you are fumbling at all, that's where you lose your client. That's where a $100 an hour client is not going to say yes. And it's not because of anything except that you're not understanding. It's a skill. So it's not something that can be taught in a 60-minute webinar, just like business is a skill, not something that can be taught in a 60-minute webinar. So you can learn the skill like I did, which was 2019, worked with a little wiggly 6-year-old homeschooler that moved across the country and threw challenge balls at me, like sliding under the desk, shutting me off, scribbling all over the screen. I had a very understanding parent, but not all parents are going to be like that. And if they are comparing you to other people and your price, you have to be really good at this skill. If I told you, hey, you know what, you should start salsa dancing, which is something that I want to do this year, you can start salsa dancing, but you're on step one. You're not going to be an expert at night. So could I give you a paragraph of like my best tips to teach online? Sure. But for every person, you know, what I really want you to understand is you're not just trying to get online. It's not just I'm trying to get through the pandemic, do the best I can. It's I need to be online and the top of my game, just like a salsa dancer, a classroom management person, a premier chef. A premier chef can't show up and just say, I boil pasta. And that's the difference, is that when you look at it as a skill, like, for example, I'll give you an example, okay? Right now, Zoom updates pretty much every 30 days. So one of the things, so people kind of be like, oh yeah, I only need business because I knew how to teach online during the pandemic. Well, do you know that right now, kids, automatically the captions are on. So if a parent is watching that, which not to scare but prepare, a parent will be watching you, and you're dictating a word or sentence and their captions are on, you're not going to be the one that they choose, right? Or right now, another update, a kid can turn himself into a puppy avatar, a horse avatar, a cow avatar. If you don't have the skill to manage that behavior and make sure that a family does not have to come and cycle in like a New York revolving door, then you're not going to be chosen for a high ticket service, right? So I would just think about that. And there are a lot of elements in online teaching that have nothing to do with reading. They have to do with behavior. They have to do with setup. They have to do with not overwhelming the family, because the family does not want to be part of the lesson. The family wants you to show up as the expert on both reading, online, behavior, so that they don't have to be part of this, especially if you are selling a high priced item. So I did not get to go from, $75 an hour driving around to $100 an hour from my home, to $125 an hour from my home, to $150 an hour from my home, to $200 an hour from my home. The way I got there was I honed my skill. I got really good at it. And, if you're going for a high ticket item, you have to be really good at it. So you can learn it the way I did by failing with some little wiggly ones, and they became the best teachers for me. Or you can say, I want to work with someone who's actually mastered this skill so that I don't have all these fumbles when I get online and my parent automatically says, this is not going to work for me or my child. All right, my friends. So Also, if you want to take like a little tiny dive, I was on Together in Literacy's podcast. I'll put, it's in my bio, so you can go to the bio. And I shared some of my top, honestly, like setup and some of the things that I do in a lesson that makes it a successful lesson. But there's going to be challenge balls thrown at you, whether it's a Zoom update, a behavioral thing you're going through, a parent concern. And that's the kind of thing that's like, you need a full class because it's a skill, right? Just like I'm going to go take a salsa class and I'm not just going once and then going to be an expert and being twirling like everybody else in everybody else in Miami. So anyways, my friends, so here's to you learning the skill. If you're really interested in both the business, which also can't be explained in 60 minutes, or the online, those are the two things that I put together in Online with Ease Academy. I would love to chat with you if you are a certified dyslexia practitioner and you're looking for this level of support so that you do show up as that elite online tutor.